Have some sense in your head. She leaned against his shoulder. How come you don't want to fight, Eamon? Is it because of Da? Partly. I don't know. I hate the Brits, I do. You should see how some of the lads at the factory talk to me, just because I'm Catholic. But we've been fighting this war for 800 bloody years. What's done is done. We can't change the past. We'll have a free and united Ireland someday, I'm sure of it. But if we tear each other apart, what's the point of it all? Don't let Mick O'Connor catch you speaking like that. He shrugged. What can they do to me? They can't force me to sign up, so they can't. As long as we keep out of trouble, they'll have no reason to trouble us. Do you really want to leave? Aye. Belfast is my home, but it's not normal living like this. Wouldn't you like to go shopping or to the cinema without being afeard you'll be blown up? Go down the pub without looking over your shoulder for RUC thugs? Aye, I would. That's why I did it. We'll figure out another way. I can take on more shifts at the factory. College can wait. But you stay out of it, do you hear? Nora nodded. Eamon reached into his pocket and pulled out a closed fist. I've something for you, he said. He opened his hand and poured a cluster of polished wooden beads the colour of coffee into her palm. Rosary beads? But I already... You're still using those crap plastic ones we got as kids. These ones are better. Thought you might take them more seriously. Nora flushed, but accepted them. She rolled the smooth beads between her fingers and inspected the tiny Jesus dangling from the end. I will. I swear it. After Eamon left for work, Nora crept into the hallway and peeked into her mother's room. She was still asleep, an empty bottle of booze on the nightstand. Nora closed the door quietly and returned to her own room. Paddy's friend had emptied her drawers onto the floor and turned over her nightstand, all of which she'd set to rights before going to bed. But he hadn't been terribly thorough. It was only out of sheer laziness on her part that the wee bottle of pills in her nightstand hadn't been hidden with the rest. She grabbed hold of the bed frame and dragged it into the middle of her room. Then she snatched up a butter knife from her dresser and pried up one of the floorboards. Old shoddy houses like this one had loads of hiding places. She felt around for the string she'd tied to one of the slats between floors. Even if someone pulled up the board, they'd be hard-pressed to notice the string unless they knew where to find it. Tied to the end of the string was a cloth bag the size of a loaf of bread. She set it on the floor and opened it up. Inside were a dozen wee packets of white powder. It was all still there. This was what Robbie Grady had really wanted her to sell. He'd unloaded the stash on her to get a little distance from the game, but he'd referred her to all of his former clients. Of course, Grady had threatened her with disembowelment and all sorts of horrible things if she turned on him. But the rewards had seemed to outweigh the risks. Her half of the profits from selling this lot would have amounted to £600. But who had grasped on her? The only deal she'd made so far was with Pater Hobson. It couldn't have been Pater. Everyone knew he was always high or plastered, just like his whole family. If he had grasped on her, his supply would dry up. She wrapped the bags back up, made sure the string was secure, and hammered down the floorboard with the blunt end of the knife. Then she pushed her bed back against the wall and sat down in it, drawing her knees up to her chest. She hadn't told Eamon about giving away Robbie Grady. She hadn't told him how scared she still was. Robbie'd be coming after her now, for sure, unless the provost got to him first. She shook her head and went downstairs to make another cup of tea. After a few minutes, her mother stirred upstairs. Be a love and go fetch some bread from Donna, will you? Her mother asked, as she came into the kitchen, pulling her dressing gown closed. Nora hesitated. What if Robbie...